In the last video, I showed you how to cross over and under with the second finger. Today we're looking at how to cross over and under with the third finger. So I'm going to show you how to do it, what not to do, and take you through some exercises so that you can practice it. We're now on page 56 of the Grossi exercise book. So we're going to be starting with exercise number 6. So place your 3, 2, 1 on C, D, E. Make sure your thumb is nice and high, your finger pointing down. You've got that web space is open, not closed like that. There's a nice little V there. And your wrist is down in neutral. It's going to be a slight valley, but not a hill. Okay, so let's check that your positioning is good. And now we're going to play 3 and our 2 all the way in. Now we place our third finger on F and we pluck our thumb on E. Over and over. Doesn't really matter how many times. Okay, let me show you what to do and what not to do. So you start with a very good difference in height between your thumb and your fingers. Watch out for that web space and the wrist. You pluck your 3 and the other fingers, the 4 and 5, I guess, all the way into your palm. Second finger all the way into your palm. Then you open up your third finger and the other fingers come with it, but you keep your second finger down. Now this is really important. When you place this third finger down on F, make sure you place it nice and low down, but you're not lifting up your wrist to do that. You're just opening it as far down as you can naturally. You're not closing up your web space. You're still keeping the web space open, but you're also not crunching up the second finger. That's staying down. So what people often do is they place the 3 not low enough and they lift the second finger so that you end up with this crunched hand. But we don't want to do that. We want to keep the web space open, put the third finger nice and low, keep the second finger down and keep that web space open. And then you're able to have lots of space for your thumb to pluck all the way over like that. And the second finger staying down and the third finger being down gives you just lots of space for the fingers and the thumb to have their own domain. Okay, and now let's do the crossover. So again, check that the thumb is high, the fingers are down, wrist down in neutral, and your web space is open. And you're going to pluck your thumb all the way over, second finger in. Then you open up your thumb and place it on B. And you pluck your third finger over and over. So let's look at how we're doing that again. Okay, so place 3, 2, 1 on C, D, E. You pluck your thumb all the way over and make sure it bends. It even hits that finger. Then the second finger comes all the way in. Now, if you just open up your thumb now without anything else moving, so I've plucked and I open up my thumb, it can't really reach that B. And then what often happens is we either lift our wrist to try and get there, or we do a sudden movement. And we don't want a sudden movement. So what you have to do is, as you've plucked your thumb, you start moving the base of your hand, this part. Base of your hand starts moving towards your fingers gradually at each pluck. So you're plucking and you're gradually moving the base of your hand towards your fingers until now I open up my thumb and I'm there. It's just so easy. The B is right there. So make it a gradual movement, not a sudden movement like that. So we're moving there, and then make sure that your web space is open, that your second finger is down, and you've still got this nice difference in height. You don't just open your thumb like this, where the web space doesn't open, and it's very low down, and you don't start hanging down so that you're crunching everything together. You're going to keep that difference in height, and the web space, the wrist stays down. And then you're plucking that third finger into your palm each time, and it probably feels really weird, and that's okay. Because it is strange to have your thumb on a different string and then your third finger plucking the one that's above it. It's kind of a strange feeling, but it's really good to practice that and get it to the point where it doesn't feel so strange anymore. Let's look at it with the left hand. So I'm doing it an octave lower. You can also do it at the same height if you've got a smaller harp, like a lap harp. Okay, so place your 3, 2, 1 on C, D, E. Your thumb nice and high, fingers pointing down. Make sure that web space is open and you've got your wrist down in neutral, not up like a heel and not too much of a valley either. Okay, so good positioning there. Then we're going to play 3 all the way in, 2 all the way in. We open up just the 3, 4, and 5. We keep the 2 down. It doesn't crunch up at all. And we keep that web space open. The height of the thumb is nice and high. The fingers is touching the string very low down. The wrist is down in neutral, and then we're plucking that. Oh, we're plucking the thumb, not the third finger. And it comes all the way over, and then nice and high up, and all the way over. So there should be lots of space for that because of your web space there. Let's do it again. 3, 2, 1 on C, D, E. We pluck the 3 all the way in, 2 all the way in, 3 places on F, and we pluck the thumb all the way over a few times. And then we're going to do the downwards one. Place 3, 2, 1 on C, D, E, and you're going to check that your thumb is high, fingers down, web space is open, and your wrist is down in neutral. We're plucking that thumb all the way over, the second finger all the way in, and you're gradually moving the base of your hand towards your fingers. So this part over here is kind of pushing towards the fingers gradually, like put towards the column of your harp, I guess. And then you open up that thumb and pluck the third finger. Make sure that second finger is down, and as you're plucking, your wrist shouldn't be coming up at all. It should be nice and steady. It's just a finger movement. Watch for that web space and that the second finger stays down. How's it going? Is this making things clearer for you and helping you to understand crossovers and unders in a new way? I really hope so. I hope you're doing well. We're going to keep on going. We're moving on to exercise 7 now. So let's start with the right hand. We're placing 3, 2, 1 on C, D, E. Watch for the high thumbs, fingers low down, web space, wrist down. We're going to pluck 3 and 2. Place your third finger on F, and you pluck your thumb all the way over. And then you're going to place 2 and 1 on G and A, and then you play 3, 2, and 1. Now let's see what we should be watching out for. Okay, the height in the thumb and fingers pointing down, the web space open, the wrist, you know that part. But as we pluck 3, 2, we place that third finger. Now what we're going to do is we pluck the thumb all the way over, and then it opens up like it's drawing a quarter circle, like that. And as it opens, the second finger starts to open too, opening downwards, and then they land together. So it needs to feel like plonk, they both land. Plonk, splat, I don't know what you want to call it, but there's a moment where the thumb and the second finger land simultaneously on the strings, and it needs to feel like on purpose. And then we play 3, 2, and 1. And make sure that as you're doing that as we're opening, we're also keeping the web space open. We don't open the thumb and the second finger and then close the web space. We don't want to do this and then we end up with the web space closed. We want to open them like this so that the web space stays open. You see that? Second half of exercise 7, we're placing 3, 2, 1 on F, G, A, and making sure that your thumb is high, fingers down, wrist down in neutral. There's a nice web space. We're plucking the thumb all the way over and the second finger all the way in. We're moving that base of your hand closer to the fingers as we go, and then we open up the thumb and place it on the E. We play the third finger on F, and then we've got to place 2 and 3 together. They've got to land simultaneously. So you can actually hang out here, have your thumb on the E, and open your 2 and 3 and land on D and C, and then close them again, and then open and land, close. And actually all your fingers are opening there because 4 and 5 are just going to move along with finger 3. They don't stay behind like that, they move with it. So you can open and close to make sure that you're managing to place and really land with 2 and 3 together. And then you can complete it. So let's do that again without stopping halfway. So we place 3, 2, 1 on F, G, A. We play the 1. Start moving your hand towards your fingers. Play the 2. Place your thumb on E. Make sure you've got that web space. And the wrist is still down. We pluck the third finger and we place 2 and 3 simultaneously on D and E, D and C, and then we play our 1 and our 2 and our C. And it's okay to do it really slowly like this. We really want to be analyzing the movements and checking that we're doing everything properly. This is not a repetitive exercise to get faster and faster with. This is to really check our positioning. Then let's do the same thing with the left hand. I'm going to play an octave lower, but you can do it in the same spot if you want to. So make sure the thumb is high, fingers pointing down, your web space is open, your wrist is down in neutral. You're on C, D, E with 3, 2, 1. We're going to pluck the third finger into your palm, second finger into your palm. Place your third finger on F. Make sure your 2 is staying down and that your web space is staying open. Then you pluck your thumb all the way over, and then you open up your thumb. Remember, it's like drawing a quarter circle, and your 2 and 1 land at the same time. So your second finger is opening downwards. We don't want it to open like this. It just opens downwards towards the string, and then they land together, and then we play our 3 into our palm, 2 down into your palm, and your thumb all the way over. Let's try that again. Place 3, 2, 1 on C, D, E. Watch out for the height of your fingers, your web space, your wrist down in neutral. You play 3, 2, place your third finger nice and low, but don't stretch down so that your wrist comes up. Make sure you maintain that web space and the second finger's down. Pluck the thumb, place 2 and 1 simultaneously, and then 3, 2, and 1. When you're placing your 2 and 1, it's really important that they land together. You don't want the thumb to get lazy and kind of lag behind, because then you're falling into the trap of placing your fingers one by one, and that's not good for building up speed later. So exercises 6 and 7, you just want to do slowly and really analyze the movements. But now we're getting to exercise 10, where this is going to become a repetitive exercise that you do over and over on every string. So let's start with the right hand. This is on page 57. So right hand, 3, 2, 1 on C, D, E. You guessed it. And we're going to play 3, 2, place your third finger on F. Pluck your thumb all the way over, place 2 and 1 simultaneously on G and A, and then we play 3, 2, place 2 and 3 again on, so we're going back down again now. So we place 2 and 3 on your G and F, you pluck your thumb all the way over and your second finger, and then you placing your thumb on E, pluck your third finger and place 2 and 3 simultaneously, and we finish it off. So it's dun 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 dun. Okay, but we're going to do it slowly. So let's do it again. And as you're doing this, make sure you're watching out for those things, that every time you're placing the thumb high and the fingers down. You're making sure the web space stays open, the wrist down in neutral, and you're completing every movement. And when you're crossing under with that third finger, make sure that the second finger isn't starting to come up, and you're placing your third finger down far enough to give yourself a lot of difference in height. And you can start to slowly build up the speed. Also make sure that there isn't here a sudden movement. You want to be gradually moving the base of your hand towards your fingers so that there's no sudden movements. And then you will repeat that exercise on the next string, on D. This is probably too fast for you right now, but I'm just demonstrating. So you'll do it slowly and maybe gradually work up the speed over a number of days. And then you do it, but every day you'll do it on C, on D, on E, on F. You keep on going up. You do it all the way until finally you're doing it on the next C. And then you're done with that exercise. Then you will do it with your left hand. I'm going an octave lower. You can do it at the same place if you want to. So 3, 2, 1 on C, D, E. Thumb nice and high, finger pointing down, web space open, wrist down in neutral. You play your 3 all the way into your palm. 2, place your 3 nice and low down on the F, and make sure that your web space is still open and your second finger is still down. You pluck your thumb all the way over, then open it up and place 2 and 1 simultaneously, and you play your 3 and your 2. The web space should still be open. Place your 2 and 3 simultaneously on G and F, then you pluck your thumb, your second finger, place your thumb on E, make sure that web space is still open here and that you're placing your thumb nice and high, but the wrist is still down in neutral. Pluck your third finger, and then your 2 and 3 land simultaneously on D and C, and you pluck your thumb all the way over, second finger down and third finger down, and then you're done. Then you move on to doing it on the D. Let's try it. Let's just do one more together. So place 3, 2, 1 on D, E, F. You play your 3 and your 2. Place your 3 nice and low. Make sure your web space is still open. Pluck your thumb all the way over, then open them together. Your second finger is opening downwards. They land together. Then you play your 3 and your 2. Place your 2 and 3 simultaneously. Pluck your thumb and your 2. Place your thumb on F. Play your 3. Place your 2 and 3 simultaneously. And then you close them all the way over. And then you're done. And then you're going to move on to the E, and you keep on going all the way up until you've done it on the C as well. And then as you're practicing this every day, you can gradually get faster, and you can also start to do it with your 2 hands together. But you would do it pretty slowly when you're doing that. And the last exercise for the third finger crossing over and under is exercise 11. It's actually the same as exercise 10. It's just going down and then up again, whereas before we went up and then down again. So we start with 3, 2, 1 in the right hand on A, B, C up here. And we're moving downwards. So we pluck the thumb and the 2. Place your thumb nice and high onto the G. You pluck your third finger. Place 2 and 3 simultaneously, and then play your 1 and your 2, and then place 2 and 1 back on F and G. They must land simultaneously. Then you play your 3 and your 2. Put your third finger on A. Make sure you're keeping that web space nice and open, and the second finger is still down. Your wrist is still down in neutral. Then you pluck your thumb and you place 2 and 1 simultaneously on B and C, and then you play 3, 2, and 1. And then we're going to move down 1. So now we do it starting on B. So place 3, 2, 1 on G, A, B. Make sure your thumb is high, fingers down, web space is open, wrist down in neutral. You pluck your thumb all the way over. Start to move that base of your hand towards your fingers gradually. And then your 2 comes in, then your thumb opens up, keep that web space open, and second finger down. Pluck your third finger in, place your 2 and 3 simultaneously on E and D. And you pluck your thumb all the way over, second finger all the way in. Then you open up your 2 and 1 and place them simultaneously on E and F. Then you play 3, 2. Place your third finger on G, nice and low down. Keep the 2 down and the web space open. Pluck your thumb all the way over. Place 2 and 3 on A and B. They've got to land simultaneously. You play your 3 and your 2 and your 1. And then you would move on to the A string, and you keep on going all the way until you're finally doing it down here again. And don't worry if there is a little bit of buzzing or something like that. It's more important that we're checking in with your hand position and that you're placing in the right places. A little bit of buzzing doesn't hurt. That's not the important issue here. Okay, now let's look at our left hand. We place the thumb on middle C and your 2 and 3 on the B and A next to that. Make sure you can land with the 3 of them landing together. Thumb is high, fingers pointing down. You've got your web space open and your wrist down in neutral. You pluck your thumb all the way over, second finger all the way in. Open up that thumb and place it on G, but make sure your web space is still open and your wrist is down in neutral and your second finger doesn't start coming up. You've got to watch that second finger, it's very rebellious. And then pluck your third finger all the way into your palm. Place 2 and 3 simultaneously on F and E. Then you play your thumb all the way over, second finger all the way in, and then you place 2 and 1 back on the F and G. They've got to land together. And then you play your 3, 2, reach that third finger down, but don't let your wrist come up, and make sure your web space is still open. And your 2 doesn't come up either. You pluck your thumb and your 2 and 1 land simultaneously, and you play 3, 2, and 1. Very well done. And then you would move on to your B and do it there. I'm just doing it fast to show you. And then you would do do it on A, moving down, 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 until eventually you do it on the C. So if you have a smaller harp, you probably want to actually start an octave higher than middle C, because otherwise you'll probably run out of notes. Well done. So practice these third finger crossing over and under exercises every day for probably at least a week, and you really need to become familiar with these before you move on to crossing over and under with your fourth finger. And I'm going to tell you more about that in the next video. Here it is. Click, click here.